If you still don't know how to reverse high blood pressure or sleep through the night, maybe this video will do the trick for you. But don't expect another pill. None of that. You may remember from the previous episode of How to Get Back to Health that health equals freedom, and pills aren't that. So no pill for you today. Today's episode will tell you how you can use grounding for heart health. And as usual, all the video clips are from our ranch. By watching them, you can see what healthy lifestyle means and how we include grounding for heart health in practice. Grounding, or earthing, is available to anyone, but I bet you haven't taken much advantage of it so far. Too bad, because grounding for heart health can do wonders for you. If you still have high blood pressure, that means there are a few things in your lifestyle that need to change. Hypertension comes from lifestyle errors. It's not a genetic disease, even though you or your doctor might think so. If you have it, it means you should carefully examine your lifestyle habits, find errors in it, and correct them. Making lifestyle changes is the only correct way to reverse hypertension, chronic inflammation, type 2 diabetes, and prevent strokes and heart attacks. No, taking lifelong pills isn't that. If you're taking prescription medication, you aren't reversing anything. One of those common errors that greatly reduce heart health is, you guessed that, lack of grounding. Yes, lack of contact with earth has consequences. Let me give you a few stats about health benefits of grounding beyond heart health first. Here are some numbers about grounding for insomnia. Look at the results. Aren't they fantastic? Proper rest and relaxation greatly influence heart health, so please take notice of the stats. 85% of people who did grounding substantially shortened the time that takes to fall asleep. 95% improved their sleep quality, and 100% said they feel rested upon waking. But there is more. 82% reported lesser stiffness and muscle pain. 74% said that chronic back and joint pain has lessened, and 78% noticed an increase in their general well-being. That's after only 1 month of grounding during sleep. Not bad, don't you think? But anyhow, let's get back to grounding for heart health. How does grounding improve cardiovascular parameters, and what can you expect? Let me start with a study on hypertension. For 8 weeks, people were asked to ground daily for 1 hour. What happened? The participants reported a significant decrease in blood pressure, both systolic and diastolic. An average decrease of blood pressure was 15%. That's without pills, refills, doctor's appointments, and other time and money suckers. For me, the best time to ground is while I work on the computer, do gardening, or pet the dogs. I will explain different ways to ground for heart health a bit later. In the meantime, I would like to also give you some stats about blood viscosity. As you may know, proper blood viscosity is fundamental to a healthy circulation. Thick blood is a predictor of cardiovascular events because it can cause hypertension, clot formation, reduction in blood flow, and contribute to arterial plaque buildup. Simply speaking, blood viscosity decides on the risk for a stroke or a heart attack. But does grounding affect blood viscosity sufficiently to reduce the risk for either? You bet. Some studies show that just 2 hours of grounding can produce a substantial reduction of blood viscosity and red blood cell aggregation. 2 hours of grounding also appears to increase zeta potential by a factor of 2.7. If zeta potential means nothing to you, then this is when you need to hit subscribe. Zeta potential is the key to a healthy heart, and that's why I will be explaining it in one of the future videos. So how does grounding do the heart health magic? It does it by changing our voltage. What? Our bodies are electric, and our red blood cells are magnetic. Have you pondered why 80% of iron in the body is in the red blood cells, not anywhere else? It's because of its magnetic properties. Magnets of the same polarity repel. and so should red blood cells. If they don't, they clump. And this is how things work. Every single hemoglobin unit contains 4 iron atoms, but hemoglobin is not the same as red blood cell. Red blood cells are composed of hemoglobins. In fact, not just one, but many. How many? Can you guess? About 280 million. Yes, that much. A single red blood cell contains more than 250 million hemoglobin units. Now, do the math. If a single red blood cell contains 280 million units of hemoglobin, and each of them contain 4 atoms of iron, how many iron atoms are in a single red blood cell? A lot. And that's why red blood cells are magnetic. Properly magnetized red blood cells are the key to a healthy heart and healthy circulation. Such red blood cells neither clump nor cause strokes, heart attacks, nor arterial plaque. You want to have magnetic red blood cells. That's where grounding for heart health comes in. But you guessed right. Most cardiovascular patients do not have properly magnetized red blood cells. They have red blood cells that clump. Clumped erythrocytes not only can cause blockages, but also deliver less oxygen to the tissue. That includes the heart muscle. Now, the heart muscle must work harder. In an attempt to saturate the bodies with more oxygen, the heart must increase its rate or blood pressure. Many cases of hypertension are nothing else but a compensation for poor blood flow. By improving the blood flow, high blood pressure can self-correct. Yes, it may be that simple. Let me summarize the role of grounding in one sentence. Grounding corrects the balance of protons and electrons, and by doing so, it corrects the magnetic charge of red blood cells. And that in turn reduces red blood cell aggregation. Basically speaking, regular grounding improves blood flow. But the problem is, most of us don't do any grounding. What's worse, very few cardiac patients know anything about the necessity of connection with the earth. But don't get mistaken. Lack of grounding is not the only reason for poor circulation or clot formation. Diet plays a huge role as well. Irritating, inflammatory, and nutrient-devoid foods are a big reason for loss of body voltage. More on cardiovascular diet in another video. Sure, you want to see it, so please hit subscribe. But let's get back to grounding for heart health. How do you do it? Absolutely, the simplest and the most natural way is to be in contact with the ground. Bare feet, bare hands, or any part of the body on the ground will do. However, the ground shouldn't be as dry like a biscuit left in the desert for 5 scorching days. Why? Because it's the moisture that conducts electricity. Dryness does not. And if you want those earth electrons come and meet your red blood cells, you need to be in contact with something that can transport earth electrons to you. But you don't have to go overboard. Going out in the rain and putting your feet in a puddle of water is not necessary. In fact, to properly ground, you don't even have to touch the ground. Touching grass or tree leaves is good enough. Living plants conduct electrical charge, so touching green leaves is grounding. That's why I sometimes garden without gloves. You can also get grounded by petting a dog. As the pooch has its feet on the grass, you can get grounded by petting it, especially if you touch hair-free parts like belly or ears. The best way to ground with a pooch is to sit on the grass while playing fetch with it. It's good for you. It's good for the dog. There is yet another way to ground. I use this method while working on the computer or while sleeping. If you want to do the same, you will need a wire. Any conductive wire will do. This wire needs to be connected to a ground in a regular electrical outlet. We made the wire connection ourselves, which cost us practically nothing. But unless you understand electricity well, I suggest you spend a few bucks on a ready-made device that is just designed for it. Grounding can do many things. It can reduce oxidative stress, calm down inflammation, increase antioxidant activity, enhance the immune function, lower cortisol, improve mood and mental clarity, accelerate wound healing, balance autonomic nervous system, and improve heart rate variability. Heart rate variability? What's that? Well, that's another video. I hope now you know how important grounding is for heart health. It's huge. In fact, if you don't ground, your heart cannot be happy. If you do ground regularly though, then talk to your doctor about reduction in your medication. A healthy circulation leads to a healthy heart, and a healthy heart needs no meds. Grounding for heart health rocks. And this is how you get back to health. Well, at least one part of it. Start grounding today and see you next time.